Okay, hi, 420 plays it. I moved the audio thing on the thing. OBS, that's what it's called.
Good morning, everyone. It has been a bit since we have done the DisasterCast, but somehow, we have managed to actually both get up at a time where,
Oh,
we
for me,
can
it's
get
easy
on and
again.
chat for a little
Casey's
bit.
working again, so I can get up. I'm
Oh,
I'm
really?
now up at this time normally again.
I did not know yet.
It's because she
Good
got a
job.
job this weekend. Like, literally, Friday had nothing, Friday offered, Saturday filled out paperwork, Monday working.
Nice.
It was breakneck speed.
Where's she working?
The
Without doxing her work.
I don't think enough people will know where this is, but me and you do. It's across from the plate.
Oh,
That
okay.
one. And also not
Gotcha.
say what it is, so that way we have add some more vagueness. Because there's a bunch of
Gotcha.
shit over there.
That's awesome though. That's good that
Yeah.
she's working again. That's good for you guys. I'm happy for her.
Yeah. So she just started
Well,
on Monday.
back on a regular schedule.
And talking about regular schedules, know what? This is officially 1 month that every Tuesday we've had a stream.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best we've done in a while.
And I have a VOD going up today at 12 p.m. on YouTube. Session 54. So not only have we had a session every Tuesday for 4 weeks, we've been having YouTube content going up too, and including several DM plays videos. Like we've been going off the past month and a half.
Verify it's you. Yes, it's me. It's gonna yell at us at one of our phones. Ugh. I'll do our password later. Apparently, I have to sign back in.
That's annoying.
Yeah, I was gonna check the YouTube analytics really quickly, and then it's like you need to sign in. I'm like, that's not something I'm doing on stream.
That's not content that people want to watch.
Yeah, I was like, going through analytics could be funny, but like, not the fighting through the 2-factor.
Well, I think it seems since we went off and ended up getting the LLC, we have
It
been
inspired
putting
us,
out
which
good
was the
content.
goal.
Now all we have to do is get the bank account. We'll figure that out soon.
Well, that requires us to have like $200 and both be in the same place and go to sign the paperwork. And I don't think we've gotten everything back from the state yet. They haven't sent us our tax ID number.
Oh, well, we gotta figure that out. It's been
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
month.
We have to check on the state website. I've gotten tons of mail about getting a bank account. TD Bank has sent us something. Chase has sent us something. You know, all the advertisements you get when you register a business. So I got a bunch of that shit, but nothing from the state of Connecticut. Just
Oh, God.
just a bunch of services trying to be sold to me, or us.
Ain't that Connecticut right there?
Well, it's just the normal.
Sending us everything except what we actually want.
Yeah, I've if we have a payroll service that send us mail. We have multiple companies that are like, hey, all the documentation you put on your walls, we'll sell it to you for a couple $100. I'm like, it's free on the state website. It's you can download it and print it. There's no rule that says it has to be on an official Pete site, as long as it's not too small. Eventually, we had to somewhere tape on the wall of my house all of the labor rules, because legally we have to.
I feel like if we do
Because this
that,
is a place of business.
It should be on the ceiling in a corner.
I think it has to be walled. This clearly does say it has to be easily visible on a wall. That's the language used in the law.
Isn't a ceiling just a wall that's
not in a legal sense?
Horizontal.
No, different words, not legally. I already know where we're going to put it. We're going to put it behind the big door over here where it won't really bother anyone. But people every once in a while will look behind the door and go, why is there the entire federal and state labor law sheets? And we'll be like, because we're a business. Even though
you're currently
zero
at the
legal
Disaster
employees.
Industries building.
Yeah, this is... You're at our headquarters. Welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Milford. We've doxed ourselves.
Yeah, they know we live in Milford. We just haven't told them exactly where we live in Milford. It's a big enough city. It's the third biggest.
Welcome to Milford, Connecticut, home of the headquarters for Subway and Disaster Industries.
No, Subway moved.
Well, it used to be Subway here, but
yeah, it used to be Big. Used to have their headquarters here. They moved their headquarters to Shelton. Subway used to have their headquarters here. They moved their headquarters to Shelton. It's okay. The city of Shelton apparently is going to run out of money this year, which is hilarious. You managed to secure that many businesses into your city, and you're going to still run out of money. That's bad.
That's an impressive level. Wow, you're really not good at this.
Yeah, like what? This is my understanding is the school district's going to run out of money. Mm-hmm. They're going to potentially cut the football next year. That's when you know a city's out of money. When they're like, yeah, there might not be football. What?
Football is usually the thing that gets all of the funding.
Yeah, that's when you go, what else was cut? I haven't been paying attention. I don't live there.
Well, we didn't introduce ourselves. So, hi, I'm Bryan Creevy. I am the Disaster Master here and one of the co-founders.
Hi, I'm Conlan Rose. I am the other co-founder of Nat Disaster here, and I play in the campaign we're actively playing, Bracket, and in the campaign we're kind of actively playing, accidentally sometimes, Rainn, and the campaign we're definitely not actively playing, Greg, and the campaign that one day I hope to return, but that requires a bunch of things in our world to change a bit, Altuk.
Yeah,
and eventually you'll see MJ sometime in the fall when I actually get that thrown together, because I keep saying to people who are going to play in that campaign that I want to do here, yeah, I'll do it in a month. I need to just push it 6 months ahead so I actually have time to write.
Yeah, because it's coming in a month for like
a year and a half. A year, like almost 2 years, honestly. It was purely because I'll write like a little bit in that month, but not enough to be like, oh, I'm ready to go do a campaign where they might change directions. I have to write like 4 more cities, that way if they we go somewhere, we have them ready. I only have like a couple things written.
Welcome to my life.
I know.
This is where I think they're gonna go, but what if they go there instead?
Yeah, I luckily the way I'm gonna kind of guide this is a little more dragging them by a leash, just because that's just the point of that campaign more, because the focus is, hey, yeah, there's some shenanigans to have in the cities, and there's little missions and stuff. I want to focus on the fighter ring and like have that as a big fun, like have that be fun. I want like a WWE D&D campaign essentially, where there's like drama and there's BS and it affects. That'd be fun because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about wrestling in the WWE because it never.
I only know enough about the acting part. I know very little about how it runs as a business. Besides it, not well.
There's this YouTuber I like watching called Madry Bread, and he lives in Canada and he talks all the time about like how wrestling is like one of his like favorite things to watch, and like he's been doing it since a kid. And I just learned how involved the story is. Like I always knew there was acting and they like stretch the truth about things just for the drama, but apparently like it goes deep.
There's a reason.
There's rivalries. There's redemption arcs. There's villain arcs. There's a lot. I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, yeah, okay. It's one of those. Yeah, clearly you haven't sat down with our friend who is an amateur pro wrestler, Sean. So I will gladly promote Sean the Vegan Keegan here to make sure his career continues to blossom because he deserves it and he's an awesome person. You clearly haven't been paying attention to Sean when he tells you about everything that he's up to. I do because I don't not care about wrestling. It's just the main wrestling organization's kind of a shitty company. And the other one, they're new and began to pop up after I stopped giving a shit about wrestling. Like, I'm no longer the age demographic for wrestling, realistically. That's like boys 8 to whenever they stop caring about it. Sometimes it's in their 20s, me. Sometimes they watch... My dad still watches wrestling all the time. He usually, once a week, will watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the new series, AWE, because they're like... Or AEW, I think it is. One of those. I don't remember. Not
It's
important. Not a wrestler guy. Told you, not a wrestler. I just, every once in a while, will watch a match, because me and my dad are chatting and whatnot about something else, but I'll watch a match, because wrestling isn't not fun. Like, it's great to watch, and it's great when they're really doing a great job, and they're actually... Because they're both play fighting and fighting, really. That's what makes wrestling cool. It is such a unique art, because there is some amount of dramatization of the fighting and actually punching each other in the face occasionally. Because sometimes the guys actually hate each other. Those are the best matches. And when you can tell at first, it's kind of just like a, oh, okay, yeah, they're acting. And then it switches gears at one point. You're like, oh, this is no longer...
This is for show, this is for show, this is with purpose.
That's a lot of blood. Some of it I know is for show, because, like, that's why you always notice they have the cuts up here. It's because up here bleeds a lot, but doesn't hurt, like, heals okay as long as you go and clean it up as soon as you get backstage.
Yep, so it looks like everything's more intense.
Yeah, it looks like you're covered in blood, but reality you just have a little gash on your face that's just running down your face. Because your face is very bloody. That's actually written into Rainn's thing. Is the cuts in her face, they were deep, but, like, not, like, destroy her face deep, just scar deep. But she looked like she was a person covered in blood.
Rainn was covered in blood recently.
Yeah, she was just covered in blood in our last episode.
I love thinking about that, because it's hilarious to think about it from Rainn's perspective. For those of you who didn't watch it, we're talking about Bracket's super sexy not so solo session.
That's a perfect name.
Rainn was asleep, attacked in her sleep in bed, so she was lying prone. She then never left the bed, ended up taking enough damage over a couple of turns to go unconscious with a barbed tail in her chest, woke up vertical, being used as a human shield, as got healed, took more damage, and then woke up flat, rain falling on your face 4 stories down on the cobblestone behind you. Like, that was a wild, 30 seconds for Rainn, and just like, where the fuck am I?
I like to imagine that when you're downed, you're not fully, zero consciousness. You have no ability to respond, obviously, because, you're downed. Duh. Yeah. That's the mechanics of the game. But I feel like if you make it back, there is... It's like the concept that people talk about near-death experiences where, oh, no, I could hear you. I could hear you all shouting. But, to you, the person there, well, you looked dead to me.
Did you hear your skull thunk against the concrete, the cobblestone?
I sense that gap is the only there's a gap because she had that essentially beat the shit back out of the window, and I feel like she felt the pull of going through the window, unconscious, and then woke up when the rain began hitting her in on her face, flying on her back.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one gap where she's like, how did I get outside? She's like, I was able to piece together the rest of it, but this one's a little confusing.
And seconds later, after regaining consciousness, you see Delson jump out the window 4 stories up, completely whiff his arrow, his grappling arrow to grab onto the roof. Right next to you, 4 stories down, flat on his back. That I've thought about a lot, and that was fucking painful.
Oh, dude, Delson's messed up. He's gonna be like...
If his character lives a long life, he'll probably have some back issues.
It's okay. He's just pulling some Batman shit, you know? If he wants to play the game of being with Green Arrow, and being any one of those other characters who's a superhero but kind of just a regular guy. What do you expect? He's a little better than... He has magic, but he's a guy.
He doesn't quite understand the magic. But No, that
Dude,
was,
no, that was a
if
great
anybody,
session. It is interesting because I played it mainly from Brackett's perspective because I decided that was what was easiest for me to focus on which character's mentality to stay into more. Of course, Rainn ended up being the center of the attention, which I know you probably did on purpose for me. Be like, come on, you gotta be Rainn right now, center of attention. And I'm like, okay, but I'm also Bracket was a saver. He's a little that gets him distracted a little bit, clanging up the stairs.
It was you focused because one, it was your solo session, but it was also a perfect timing for that, which I kind of thought of as at the last minute, and I was
No, that's a
like,
good
this
last
doesn't
minute
have to
idea.
just be a role play session. This, like, I started thinking about it, I was like, Baitor Shadow has not come after Rainn yet, but they 100% would have something in the works.
So why not now?
This is a good time.
No, I think it was a good time. I think you did. It will be interesting because we'll have to do this in a discussion cast and whatnot because we have some events that will happen post this that we'll have to prep for the day that we cross the bridge, and then we'll have to do a discussion cast with the cast in the city because I think there's going to be some running around and we might want to just bring the cast on for a discussion cast because I think enough of us are going to go and do something.
Yeah. I think Delson's gonna stay in his house though, probably resting up and just being grumpy that things are happening.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Delson's gonna go through with Bracket because what did we already go through the portal? Or are we waiting for the morning?
So
I was trying to remember because I got
We
tired by the
kind of
end.
like we fast forwarded through the morning of like, hey, what we would have done, and that's something if we wanted to get into more details when we do a discussion cast, we can. But we fast forwarded enough to whenever we do session 55, we'll probably have like maybe 5 minutes or less of Bracket on the other side of the portal saying it's his goodbyes and last preparation before going back, and then portaling back. So it'll probably be like right at the beginning of next
and that'll
session.
probably be a lot of people who are playing to decide, are we joining Bracket through the portal or not?
Well, it's already been decided that Andy can't because Andy's got the thing. Delson, I don't think he's going to from Andrew's perspective, so I don't know anybody from the Lucky Sink that like would end up going through at this point.
Oh, you should send Paul. It'd be funny.
Oh my god.
I also liked making a point of the Minnesotan accent where
Minnesota.
Yeah, I was like, because you're also putting on thick that day, so I was like, I gotta play. Bracket's like, I've only been to Twin Cities once. I don't remember most of it.
All I remember is soda.
So yeah, I remember how everyone talked. That was kind of jarring. Imagine like showing up in the U.S., not really understanding English fully, living in California, and then going to Twin Cities. Everyone has a heavier accent.
Yeah, it was fun seeing Bracket in the city and meeting the Lucky Sing crew with his normal antics going on, everything.
Well, yeah, everyone being like, this man is very strange. He keeps referencing things that I don't think exist.
Yeah, and he keeps at this point he is not directly calling himself the hero of Light and Time, but he's acknowledging that seems to be what people are calling and telling him that he is. I feel like the bridge is going to be Bracket's moment of, okay, maybe I am the hero, like almost believe, because I feel like that we haven't developed Bracket over the past like arc a lot, because a lot of it has been Bracket kind of disassociating from the stuff that's been going on.
Well, he's in the, he hasn't hit the acceptance phase of this arc of the learning you got responsibility, chart. I'm not sure what those steps are, because I know like depression and like addiction and stuff, but he hasn't hit acceptance yet at all. He's at the beginning to get the whole deal. Like, because the weighing of the responsibilities already weighed on him and all that stuff like that. So he's got that, and he's stressed about that for the past week. And now he's like, okay, I can do this. But he doesn't feel like a hero. And even that night, even though he tried very hard, he also did not feel like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
He felt he didn't do it. He's like I did an okay job. She didn't die, and like we killed some of the guys, but
Mm-hmm. I think the bridge going into it, Brackett's got to look at it from that perspective of like, okay, if I'm actually a hero, then we're gonna make this mission a success. We're gonna save people. We're gonna get to the other side of the bridge and like take some like leadership calls in battle and stuff like that. Like I feel like this is a great moment for Brackett to finally like come to terms that like, okay, this is it. This is who I am. This is what I'm here to do. Save people.
yeah, the biggest thing will be how you which we'll see. Obviously, I want it to be a surprise. I want to know shit all because the group doesn't know what they're facing, so I don't fully want to know what we're facing and have to scramble to deal with it because I feel like that's better for the characters and better for the story writing. But like they don't know what they're about to face on the bridge, and it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna suck. And I know part of the jokes were that we were gonna add some turret sections. I still hope you do give us a turret section because that's still very funny in D&D to have a turret section. Because every game has that one turret section that you're not like, oh, okay. Okay, this controls like shit. Yeah. Yeah, you're sitting there with the very slow machine gun. Okay, this is sick, but like, okay.
I'm just firing.
I'm missing half my shots, which is really pathetic.
Well, what do you guys have for mounting right now? You guys have the magical crossbows, right?
Yeah, we have two magical crossbows
Yalaka's
mounted on, I think, one on each side of the cart. I think we decided. And we have a bunch of bolts. That's probably something I should have grabbed where I was in the city, is I should have grabbed a fuck ton more crossbow bolts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you got the arrows for Nox.
Oh yeah, Nox gonna be... Nox gonna be murking people nonstop. Though, some of those arrows aren't very effective against the type of elementals we're facing. Like the fire one, essentially useless against any of the elementals we're facing.
Yeah, I think that when Brackett gets back to the group, especially because Nox's going to be away for a little bit, the travel to the bridge and before it's going to be like, all right, let's prep our defenses. Let's get everything set. Let's get these crossbows mounted. All right, who's going above? Who's going below? All right, what's everybody's station? Everybody cover a corner.
Well, yeah, we're gonna need essentially like a at least 2-part, maybe 3-part team of. I probably am just gonna sit sentineling, shield in the hand, sword in other, running the cart across. So swinging, protecting the horses and the cart itself. It's 2 people, whoever's quick and able to move, so it probably will be Nock and Illyria, realistically. Though Illyria might be frightening for people who are in the process of being a near-death experience. So maybe not Illyria. So maybe... They might think they're being transported to the other side with that. Not to be mean to her, but her face is a little... to new people might be a little worrisome. So, but Nock has the most mobility of any of our characters. So, them swooping into like the buildings to scan them and then see people jump off, having Vayne loop around while Nock evacs them. I think we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to have an evac team, at least 2 or 3 people on the cart, essentially making the cart as a tank, so we can just load people on.
I think I feel like we haven't used them yet, so I forgot how it was written, but I feel like the magical crossbows were like a command word fire, so whoever's there loading that crossbow can also be like firing a separate weapon, or are there more magical cantrips or something like that?
Oh yeah, they can be doing magic,
so
definitely.
Essentially every turret could be firing itself, but also having like the person who's kind of in charge
Yeah,
of
we
it
have to see
using
what
their own
Oliver's
attacks.
stats are for weapons use.
Hmm.
Because Oliver might
I
have to
mean,
be staying in the cart.
and he's got cantrips,
That's
so
what I'm
he's
saying. He has a
got
bunch of ranged
constant.
attacks, so he could just be standing like just behind Bracket and just be pumping out.
Hmm.
And that will also give him the plus on all the saving throws.
Hmm. That's going to be really good for everybody to stay within your range in the cart.
Well, that's why it's important
Everybody
for
who's
all
in
the
the cart.
people to get into the cart, because they're all going to sit within Bracket's range to be a little
Hmm.
safer.
The horses will be in the range.
Does me and Hamel bouncing our energies off each other, does that help everyone?
Yeah, no, that's one thing we gotta watch out for too. They could attack the horses.
Oh, they're
They could
gonna attack the
the
horses because
cart.
the elementals are kind of strategic, but they just attack anything that they deem a threat based on how we've seen them react. Is if you're in range and you're attacking other elementals, they just start showing up. Which is our
Yeah,
part. We
it
need to
might.
hold our fire until they start attacking us, or else they'll just swarm.
Hmm. And try to defend the horses at all costs, because it might get to a point where it might just be Hamel pulling the cart.
Yeah, I have to save up the rest of my second level spells for summoning my steed.
Mhm.
I can't waste those.
Illyria, I'm sorry, we need you to turn into a horse.
Yeah, can the druid turn into a horse, please?
Can you pull the cart? We're horses down.
The absolutely messing with the guard when we enter, when she just wild shapes back and my horse dissolves after his one hit point is gone.
Wow, it's a miracle your horses both survive, turns into a human, disappears.
Yeah, it's like, let's not talk about horses. Let's not. The kingdom will not be pleased. They lost 2 grand steeds. Because the horses we have aren't ours. They're the city's. They're owned by the government.
Yeah.
They're on
We lost
loan.
those assets.
Yeah, these are the queen's assets, not our own.
She can add it to our bill.
At this point, I assume Bracket in his head's assuming he is a blank check. He was not told. People continue to not inform him in terms of conditions, so he just wings it.
I'm on the side of good.
Hey, I'm the good guy. Don't you pay me? Don't you pay?
And I don't get charged for property damage.
Yeah, I thought that's how this works. You guys don't have insurance?
You don't have end of the world coverage?
You don't have superhero insurance? Come on, that's like commonplace in LA.
You guys have medical insurance? Come on.
Is there medical insurance in Zista? How evil did we make Zista?
Remember, we were talking about this in either the last DisasterCast or the one beforehand. We were talking about a healthcare system in Zista City. Because
there's definitely a healthcare system, because with saying that where there's clerics, there has to be a system that trains them, runs them, blah blah blah. Because that's where one of Zan's daughters is, that she's training to become a healing cleric for the city.
Yeah, no, we were
Maybe
joking last time.
Remember.
We had a good chunk of time discussing the Zista City possible healthcare system, how it's better than our own healthcare system.
Doesn't take much.
And how you have different kind of clerics for different things. Like
I remember that. That was funny. The foot cleric, the pediatrician cleric,
pedia cleric, my primary cleric. Also, too, we were talking about, hey, if somebody died of, a heart attack and you revive them, do they come back with the heart attack? Because did the magic fix the actual issue, or did it just revive you?
No, I think our determination was, pretty simply, depends what magic you're using. Cure wounds would heal you. Oh my god, apparently I'm dying.
You need some water. Oh my god.
I didn't even pull that hard. What the fuck was that?
By the way...
It was like one puff. Holy shit, I almost died.
Different topic, but still D&D. I've gotten to the rewatch of The Heist, where I'm watching The Belly of the Beast, so you guys are talking to Greezfleur. And Conlan,
I'm so... You see how frustrated I am that whole session. Not because I'm not having a good time, but because I clearly am not in control of the situation. Where, like, it's going okay-ish, and then Yamakowski takes it away, and Rainn's like, I'm fucking out. I can't solve what that man has done. I can't solve it.
Once Seabreeze started talking, and then Andy started talking, and Rainn wasn't the sole person talking, you were just like, this is not how I thought this was going to go. To the point where there's one part you literally say, I forgot exactly what you said, but you had to like get up and you just start pacing in the back.
Well, Rainn had fully lost control of the situation, and I had been thinking about ways it could go badly, and this was one of the things I was like, this could go badly, but we can. I wasn't worried about the salvaging part, but I'm like, your guys are making this so much more difficult than necessary. We were going to negotiate. We were going to talk to him, treat him with some amount of respect, and say, this grand, powerful dragon, blah 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 blah. Jerk the fucking jackass off a little bit.
And then Yamakowski's like, I am here to serve you, and all of this stuff that I have done has been in that act to get to this point and to free you. And so, like, he was trying to convince him that the Beyond One's plan for him was like the way for him to get out, and you're just like, this is way off the rails of what I anticipated.
I'm like, I don't even know Greezfleur knows all this information, which means we are now negotiating into the abyss. That's literally how Rainn's brain. She's like, oh boy. Rainn didn't fully know what he was talking about, because at that point, Yamakowski had not informed us everything that was going on. So we just knew they were in great shape, were clearly doing something evil as shit, and were losing their shit. That's all we knew. Like, we didn't have really context of what that meant until he was just like, I shall do this. And I'm like, Rainn's like, okay, that's not, oh boy, oh crap, this can get worse.
Yep.
Rainn was worried that somehow that Greezfleur would take the deal, because Greezfleur wants to be his own master, so that was the one thing Rainn's like, I don't think this line of questioning works as well as you think it does. Because you're implying that Greezfleur is subservient to someone else, and that he ain't gonna like. Because that's how Rainn was gonna play the game up, was, try and play him up, because obviously he's a dragon. That's what you do with a dragon. If you're gonna have to talk to a dragon, you gotta treat a dragon like you treat billionaires. You gotta suck them off. It sucks. Stupid. I'd rather them be dead. Separate issue in our own world. Separate issue.
I had a lot of fun with getting in the headspace of that.
Well, yeah, you have to. It's a pure evil being who just wants to hoard wealth. So they can be reasoned with. They have reasoning skills because they do want their money. So as long as you make a negotiation, like, yo, kill Dai. Hers essentially to me, I'm gonna free you. You can kill Dai Hunada, who I know you want to kill. I'm locked in on that. Steal all of his shit. Send us all the gold that's both yours and his. Like, I was gonna negotiate a whole deal of like, take all your shit. Hell, fuck up the other Dais. I don't give a shit. I don't give a Rainn was willing to let some chaos happen to the upper crusts, so that way she could move on. And just be like, I just need my one thing. One thing, I'm out. We never need to see each other again. Never need to talk to each other again. I'll make sure the guard doesn't chase after you. Don't worry about it. That was Rainn's plan, was just be like, because that's all he wants is to go fly off into a mountain and be, Greezfleur, the evil dragon, and to terrorize villages nearby. That's all he wants to do.
I
wants to eat goats.
I had several. Technically, it's bison. There are little bisons walking around in his lair. But
that's all he wants to do, though. Sorry, I forgot about the bison. You're right.
I have a lot of worst case scenario endings for stuff, and if possible, he saw, as he even mentioned with his diss intro, when he first introduced and just picked your party apart one by what category he thought you would look for. Like, he was like, oh, adventuring party formula didn't end, and then just picked apart who each one of you were. He recognized you as, like, the mastermind leader, and he was like, oh, you're the most fun to break. There was a scenario where if things went bad and everybody died, he was gonna probably try to keep Rainn alive.
Oh, I know.
And
that was always the risk. Which Rainn didn't talk to anyone else. But her plan was a bad idea, and Rainn knew that. By the way, there's a point where I make myself too useful, and he goes, "Good. Well, I'm gonna keep you." And she would be like, "Fuck, shit, oh crap, crap." Mm-hmm. And she knew that was a worry she had was she's useful.
But everybody else dies, he might keep me alive, and that doesn't sound like it's gonna be a fun time.
No, that was actually one of Rainn's fears going into it, which is why she got all panicked when we began going so far up script. Is Rainn's like, I do not want to be stuck in the subserviency of this dragon for the rest of my life, because he won't kill me. He has already ID'd. That's the smart one. She knows how to do the things. I can't go into town. I'm a dragon.
I can also break her down so easily, and it'll be so much fun.
Yeah, figure out the manipulation. She'll figure out that I have dead parents. Easy.
It's like, Rainn doesn't want to be subservient to the demon. Seabreeze might, but not Rainn.
Rainn does not want to be subservient to anyone. That's the point of her personality, is Rainn is a rebel who pretends to seek authority. The whole guard thing is the guard are just a tool to an end. She sees them as useful and important for the city, but they do not command Rainn. Rainn commands them. No one commands Rainn. Even Rainn doesn't feel the queen commands her. But she has to respect the queen's authority at this time. How else will she gain authority? Mm-hmm. So, that's who Rainn's personality is. She is not a subservient person to anyone. It's one of those, part of her character traits is she's over her dead parents. She's already had time. Not that she wouldn't love her parents back, but she's accepted their death. She's had 20 years to get over it. And she hasn't gotten over it, but she's made her peace and said, I don't need my parents back. Because people have tried to be like, I can bring your parents back. When she was a little girl, been tricked by evil, bad people, got hurt, and now as an adult is like, yeah, no, you can offer me that, but I think I'm good. Mm-hmm. Because also, she's smart enough to know that no one would offer to bring her parents back, because they are an active threat to someone with that much evil energy. Her parents and herself together are a threat to an evil entity like that. They're two...
That could have been a moment of innocence lost for Rainn as a child, like maybe like at a young age, like 7 or 8 or 9 years old, ran into someone who doesn't know who she was, but like just came across that Rainn lost both her parents. Like, oh yeah, hey, I can help you out with that.
You just have to get me this thing.
And then Rainn did it against all odds and got it, and then the person took it and just left it, or like kicked her down or something like that.
Threw her the 3 gold pieces and said thanks and walked right out. Where about my parents? That kind of magic ain't real, toots. Better line than that. Better line than that.
And that's how Rainn begins learning how the city operates.
That is I left it vague, so if we ever wanted to explore stories or write memories, we could for the gaps. I only wanted to do the big strokes, like the watching her friend, the watching her friend die when she was really, really little, right after she left the orphanage, and she was like living in a crate essentially in the street with this other little girl, and like then she eventually got sick in the winter, and the other little girl died. Like that's the beginning of going from innocent little girl to fucking has issues. Which is why Rainn sometimes locks up, and I play that on purpose, is when something gets way too much, sometimes Rainn's just like, oh boy, because she has PTSD. She just is... That she hasn't dealt with. She's dealt with other shit. But she's not. She's like, I actively repress all that and try not to think about it. Why? Because then I'll go crazy and die. Because she's smart enough to understand. She's like, I'm not ready to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what happened. I'm not stupid. That's her survival instinct. Speaking of survival
against
instinct,
all odds.
That's well. Remember, that's the joke of the timeline. This is the timeline Rainn's alive. Other timelines, she never made it. The timeline brackets from, I imagine she really didn't make it much past the heist. She might have died in the heist. One of those differences in the world, because bracket doesn't show up. Million possibilities. Technically, there's infinite possibilities in that, but.
And that's what Andy's monastery believes, the karma plenty. Oh, but since got a little bit more time left before we do have to end it just because, work, I still want to dedicate some time, as we always do for DisasterCast. Conlan, the state of the world.
Okay, yeah, get me all going.
You have opinions, huh?
I have. Let me take my sip of water. I've been talking a bunch, so I don't want to destroy what's left of my throat.
Mm-hmm. 32.
Guy, enjoy this water while we still got it before all the data centers take it. There we go. So now I can go all crazy conspiratorial. I gotta figure out my transition point.
I think what's the approval rating right now? 37% or 30 or something.
You're
like
being
that.
very nice. It's 29.
Oh, I thought it was like 32%.
So there's a couple. You have to kind of balance it. I think the balanced is like 32, 34. There's the right-leaning media / media that's kind of being influenced by billionaires who own them, but is still trying to get some truth out of it because the people who work there do care. It's just the people up here are evil. So balancing act. That's why media is such a mess in this country at this time. Is you have many forces fighting each other, which is why you get random bouts of truth out of it. Even out of the real evil stuff, every once in a while they'll say something so true, you're like, how brave, but why you? You're not the useful one to explain that. You are always lying, you fucktards. That's my favorite, is when you're just like, okay, you're right, but no one's going to listen to you. Mm-hmm. So the bias of positive version of the rating is 39 to 36. And that's horrible for the positive version of a rating. And
after the first year in the office this term.
The more technically what I actually think is the real temperature of people who are aware of the world. Because I think the people voting in that category that are the more positive polls are purposely picking people who don't pay attention to the active world. They're picking upper middle class families who are generally not affected by major swings and changes that much, minus gas prices going up. Because they're just like, oh, well, that sucks. La-di-da-di-da. Because they have enough money to be comfortable. So when you're that comfortable, you don't think about how bad shit is.
Yeah.
It's just reality.
That's a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, it's one of those. And one day I hope to be that exact amount of wealthy. That's all I want. I don't need more than, oh, that stinks. Well, I guess I'll have to be a little more checking on the gas buddy to go to the best prices for gasoline. I'm okay with that. Instead of being like, I must find the best price for gasoline or I only get to have 3/4 of a tank this time. Do I have any points on one of the credit cards? Do I have
I don't have the luxury of being picky and trying to find, the best gas that I can put in my car. No, I gotta go for the freaking cheapest out there.
That's why I like driving the CK. I can put the cheapest ass diesel I want into that bitch. It won't matter. It'll run. I can put fucking cooking oil in the back.
Dude, I feel so bad for
you
right now.
You know what? I will be fine because they're gonna keep subsidizing the price of diesel. Because that's the only way food can keep ending on the table. So currently, that's why the prices of gasoline is spiking so fast, which we're detracting from the approval rating, which we'll get back to, I promise. Because this is the reason the approval rating's bad. So the spiking of the gasoline, part of it is because, world events keep messing with it because it's going weekend by weekend, so that's why it's causing this weird ratcheting. It's almost like it's purposeful. And diesel fuel has stopped ratcheting, has come down a hair, and is now leveling. And that is because the federal government is subsidizing diesel production, because if diesel fuel gets too expensive, the country stops moving. The price, my understanding of that is like $8 a gallon, or like $7 or $8 a gallon. Construction turns off because once you're paying equipment above minimum wage to be on, the things stop being economical. Because that's the point of why fuel's economical, is it's $2 in you put $8 of gasoline in the excavator and it runs all day. But when you're spending $8 an hour to operate the excavator, on top of its maintenance costs, its operator that's $24 an hour and all that, you're like, fuck that shit. I'd rather not do the job. Yeah, when your job goes from being like $30, like costing $30 an hour ish, to moving up to $50 or $60 an hour and doubles in price, because that's what happens when fuel doubles in price. It quickly doubles every other cost expenditure. Because that means even the mechanic to come out to look at the truck, he's charging you more. So your prices on that go up. The parts to get in there are going up because it costs diesel fuel to get it across the country to get your oil filters. Like every single, and all those filters and all those components use oil in them to manufacture them. The prices, when oil cranks up, everything just is up. Just takes a month or two to really get bad, and we're beginning it. That's beginning now. Like food prices are going to start going straight upwards. That's what's going to suck.
I feel like as much as this sucks, I think it was the shock that a lot of people needed.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I agree.
How many people knew how much of the economy was reliant on the Strait of Hormuz? Most people who are not in the political spectrum, in like the how the system works, would know how important this one thing is, but it's shut down and everything is being affected. Like, this might even be hopefully for the next administration, a good reference point as to why we need to push for clean energy.
It's one of those, it now makes this administration look bad where they could take wins that would even not upset their base, which is proof of how degrowth and just not actually an administration that wants the U.S. to succeed. Because they could be evil but still successful. It's possible to be evil and successful. That's how billionaires exist. And that's bad in some ways, but it's okay as long as we really are successful. Which was kind of how the U.S. operated in the mid-20th century was, hey, they're good guys, but, every once in a while they do some fucked up shit. But they're the good guys, overall.
They're helping the economy. They may have questionable ways that they build their products and treat their workers, but they're helping the economy.
Well, that's how you view the U.S. as well, through the 20th century. It's kind of like, well, they did win the war and they did make all the money. We can't blame them on that. They won the war. But they really shouldn't have gotten that involved in Korea, even though we did definitely tell them to do that. Because by the way, everyone says the Korean War is an unjust war. The United States did not fully choose to go to war with Korea. The UN told us to go to war with Korea. Other people voted for that. We just followed through because we're the only ones who had a military, because World War II was 4 years prior. And we had a fuck ton of aircraft carriers and ships and people who knew how to fly them.
And also, too, it's the UN. So when the UN is telling you to do something, right after you, the most powerful nation in the UN, helped establish it and joined it.
Yeah. Obviously, yes, Americans definitely influenced the decision to save Korea, and I think it was the right choice, by the way. I do dislike a divided Korea, but I think a joint Korea of pure communism would be bad, I think, for the world. Mm-hmm. That'd be a waste of such talented and amazing people who live on that little peninsula. And I wish the North Korean people also got to have and live in the splendor the people in South Korea can live in when their hyper-capitalism isn't oppressing them, mainly because they let misogyny be part of their culture in a way that I don't understand, for being such nice people.
Yeah. Maybe one day in our lifetime, maybe we'll see it, but it's weird because isn't Kim Jong-un, isn't it showing that it seems like he's training his daughter to take over for him, I heard.
I have not been paying attention much to North Korea recently. I will admit that. But that sounds like something I've heard in rumors of, but I haven't been paying attention. The only pay attention I've been doing with the North Koreans is I've seen some of the stuff they've been doing with patrol boats getting too close to the control line,
Yeah.
and all the North Korean troops that are getting murked by fucking drones in Russia, in occupied Ukraine. Fuck them. I'm happy they're getting murked by drones. Every one of those videos makes me smile. It's just wrong and sadistic, and I feel bad. It's like, that's not good. I shouldn't have to feel that way.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's crazy when there's enough fucked up things in the world that we have taken our eyes off of North Korea.
They're not the problem right now. There's other issues like China, the Russians doing all the Russians, our own country. That's kind of been a little exhausting. I'm like, I didn't know I'd have to watch myself so much.
Yeah, I thought we were good.
Like, obviously, I know we fuck up a bunch, but, like, tolerable good.
Like this past year,
no.
You gotta keep your eyes on it. Oh my god, every little thing.
It's been wild, and it's tiring. And that's why the adjusted, I call it, in my head, which these aren't hard stats. These are just based on me going through data and doing some averages in my head, and it's not perfect stuff. I'm not putting shit in a spreadsheet. I don't care that much. I just need to understand the world around me. I don't need to have hard math on it. But, like, the adjusted is closer to 29% realistically, because he's losing the base, and those polls are, like, technically take a couple weeks. So those polls are a little late anyways. So, like, the current adjusted belief one is, like, 29. So between, like, 34 and 29%. Which means he's losing base. Because below 34% is losing base.
I mean, have you
He's losing his own supporters. He's so bad at this.
Did you ever think that freaking Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson have both turned against him? And the funniest thing about Tucker Carlson is, 2 weeks ago, he was literally on camera on his podcast saying, like, is Trump the Antichrist? Like, he was, like, basically, like, bringing it up like that. And then he just got interviewed by somebody who said, like, what did you mean by that? Do you believe it? And Tucker Carlson flat out said, I don't believe those words ever came out of my lips.
Well, yeah, that's
just like, you said it less than 2 weeks ago.
It's because he's a puppet, and he is by definition propagandist in this whole fucking country. Dude, like, if you pay him, he'll say whatever you want him to say in his stupid little, why don't they tell us this? Like the way he talks, which makes me want to throttle him. If someone spoke to me like that, they'd make it 2 sentences in and be unconscious. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, everyone, I lost it. Sorry. Why? I just can't do it.
I am thankful that people like him are actually calling out Trump on their areas now, because it's making it so.
It's making it more mainstream and normalized, which is good. It's one of those.
It's spreading to more people.
It's one of those, but definitely put very little stock into people like Tucker, or especially MTG, who have backings from foreign entities. It's not all of their backing, obviously, as persons. Maybe Tucker, it is at this point, because he did, like, spend 3 months in Russia. So don't trust anything he ever does ever again. Like, dude is owned until the Muscovy regime collapses, which is the old name for Russia before they renamed themselves. When Catherine, I don't remember if it was Catherine the Great, but it was around that time period during those czars. They renamed and rebranded. She's the one who did the rebrand and, like, invented modern Russian culture. Was invented by Catherine the Great. Didn't exist before then. It was other countries' culture. But before that, it was not Russian culture. There was Russian culture, but it was not what we now imagine
what we
in
know
media.
As today.
Yeah, like what we imagine, like, the dancing and stuff like that. Not that some of that isn't part of Russian culture. It definitely is. But some of it is generic Slavic culture. Some of it's Ukrainian culture. Like, all the outfit designs a lot, and the Cossack design, that's all Ukrainian, stuff. Or Crimean. And then there's stuff from Moldova. There's stuff from the Baltic states. There's stuff they stole from the Poles. There's stuff they stole all across the prairies of Siberia.
Russia would like to think that they are like this unique, like the founder, the most powerful, like what's meant to be, but their country is just built up of stolen entities, stolen culture. Like literally, the current state of everything is just take what's around you and say it's yours.
Because you can't make anything better. It's because, and that's why it's such a. We've moved away from the other thing, but this is an important topic, so I do want to continue on it. It's not because I don't think Russia can't be a great nation. I think it can. There's clearly the people that's possible. There's clearly very smart people who live in Russia. There's clearly the ability for it to happen one day in the future. But somewhere, the people of Russia need to get over this cultural issue they've had for so long that makes them a death cult that I don't fully understand because I'm not a psychologist. And this is from the language of me talking to Ukrainians over the course of this war, and they don't understand it fully either, because sometimes they act normal, and then when they get into situations where they're told who the bad guy is, regardless of facts, they immediately all just go, okay, cool, and they act as a death cult towards that stuff. They don't have a deep respect for life. Ukrainians have noticed this in the war where they went, we thought they were depraved-ish, but we thought it was ish, not just depraved. Like, we were just like, oh, yeah, they do some weird stuff we think's kind of fucked up, but, like, they're a fucked up country, whatever. But now, like, oh, no, they're like fucking cats. I don't even know what you're supposed to do with that. There's soldiers raping cats, and then they eat them. What? What?
How am I supposed to react to that?
This
in the training manual.
Yeah, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? That's a thing they do? Like, the amount of things that Russian soldiers have done, which admittedly, that is a subset of the Russian people. They're probably some of the poorest and maybe not as well educated or as well learned or very morally great, especially because a bunch of people who were trying to get out of jail sentences joined the military because they were able to get special contracts and whatnot to not go to jail. So they might not be the best people in the country going out to fight this war. I will admit that. Duh. You don't send your best and brightest to go die in a front line in Ukraine to get hit by an FPV drone. But the fact that so many of these people are all doing the same things of harming people in these towns, of attacking animals that are innocent animals that are just bystanders in ways that make no sense. Like hunting food to eat is fine. Like, you see deer, you shoot deer, you eat deer, that's whatever. But, like, just needlessly shooting things, Ukrainians have seen via, like, cam footage and stuff, because they have cameras set up on parts of the defensive lines, where they're just, like, stomping rabbits for funsies. They're not even, like, killing the rabbit to eat. They're just, like, throwing grenades at it for fun. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Again, if you need to shoot the rabbit because you have no food and you need to eat, totally fine and reasonable course of action by a person.
This is also not the best way to get, the people on your side, where there's footage
of you just grenading a rabbit in a foxhole. It's okay. You know that person's dead already. They got FPV drone because Ukraine was watching with an FPV drone, just like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And just sat there waiting, and went, yep, he grenaded the bunny. Okay, well, let's just hit him before he kills the bunny. Like,
clearly, this is not the brightest that they have, and
it's better he's gone.
We'll us and them a favor.
He'll be useful for growing sunflowers in the future, and the sunflower and wheat and barley that has grown in Ukraine post-war on the bodies of dead Russian soldiers will flourish to beautiful and amazing beer and amazing cultural foods from Ukraine. I want people to understand the world's changing post this war. Ukraine's never going to be the little dinky country that we don't think about anymore. It stopped happening, especially with our current president deciding to not do the smart thing, even though he is obviously pushed by a bunch of backers from foreign entities that want to destroy Ukraine. And some of his own opinion is negative towards Ukraine because he has a bunch of business partners who in Russia and stuff like that. Just, sorry, he's a Russian mafioso. Has been for a while. Since the 80s. It was always things you could look up.
You just need to be willing to, I don't know, Google it.
Yeah, you just had to do some research. It was pretty obvious. We at NAFA were talking about it. But had like even some people in the administration, instead of continuing to back that position, just pushed him and said, "Nah, just fucking suck it up and partner with them," because we would have gotten drone tech that would have defended our bases in this war, where we would have had way less casualties, and maybe this war would have gone and been felt a little differently if we like blew the shit out of them, didn't blow up the school, and like just defeated them militarily and didn't lose any troops. We'd be like, oh, okay, like that. We shouldn't have done that. Let's note that in the record. I officially say that was bad, but they can't attack us anymore? Are the terrorists gone too? Okay, I can live with it. I can live with
it. That's one of those United States oopsie doopsies.
Yeah, you're just like
you would expect out of us.
Yeah, that's okay. That would have been an okay, normal U.S. oopsie doopsie. I can tolerate it. I'm not happy, but like, okay, fine, whatever. But now we're not there anymore. We've broken international norms. We've blown up things we didn't need to blow up for no reason, just a waste of munitions. Like, separately,
we broke our own laws. Congress still has not approved this war.
Yeah, but no, we're at a ceasefire, so it's no longer happening, even though we're firing missiles literally yesterday. Me and Bryan will spiral on this. This is pissing us off in a way that we haven't even talked about together because we're too angry about it that we'll just get pissed.
And like me and you just have not got on a lot recently to like talk about this world, but like everything that's going on, I see it happening, and I'm just like, oh, I know in my soul, Conlan is pissed.
I'm infuriated, which is why I've in recent times been doing a lot less looking at Twitter. I have now do it twice a day. I check in the morning, I check in the afternoon, and maybe I'll check during the day if I have I'm just sitting doing nothing and resting for a minute. Mm-hmm. And I try to only do it then, because if I do it more than then, I just get angry, and I'm just pissed off the whole day. And I'm already pissed off when I wake up, so I don't need help.
Did you see what the White House posted yesterday?
Which thing? They posted a bunch of stupid shit, man.
The AI image of Trump with Grogu.
Yeah, I did, with the bad flag.
The May the 4th be with you freaking post. It's pretty wild. I saw in the top comment, though, somebody said fixed it, and they switched it to him holding the Israel flag, and then Netanyahu was Grogu coming out of his pocket.
That's funny. Oh, boy, that's hilarious.
Yep, if you do go to that page later, check that out, because I saw that, and I was like, okay, this is disgusting. It hurts me that this is coming directly from our White House, but damn, that comment section is great. Dude, the end of the world is good for memes.
Yeah, well, that we all knew was going to happen. It's unfortunate I've seen a Russian soldier blown in half by a 25mm round, but the memes have been great from everything, man. Dude, what Russian air defense? What Russian... Or the entire time, all this has happened recently. It sucks. I hate it. But, seeing the E3 Sentry, which sucks we lost one because of just incompetence. Gross incompetence. That's all it is. We could have sent equipment that prevented those attacks from ever affecting those airframes. We have it. We own it. There is no excuse. None. We could have shipped it ahead of time. Fucking $200 million lost for no reason. But the memes
no
where
excuse.
It's a picture of the aircraft all black. I'm tired, boss. It's
what's too damn bad?
There's all kinds of memes about all the destroyed aircraft. The fact that we lost 4 F-15s, 3 of them to potentially friendly fire. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, well, there's no excuses, but there's reasons, and that's the people who are in charge of
a man
all of
who was
right now.
Determined by the National Guard that he should never be in charge of troops because of his gross incompetence is the Secretary of Defense. A man who lost the ability to rank up further because he was too incompetent and ever lead men again because he was too incompetent. And then eventually lost his position at the Guard for being too racist.
And then, they just hate the name Secretary of Defense so much that, they just had to change it. Secretary of War.
Well, it's just because he wants to jerk himself off.
Which we got to think about, too. They the whole Trump administration was, I'm not going to start any wars, no more senseless wars, no more senseless. But then one of the first things you do is change the name of Secretary of Defense to Secretary of War. That doesn't sound very. I don't want to start any wars, because the Secretary of Defense. Okay, we don't want to start wars. We want to defend ourselves and prevent attacks.
Yeah.
Secretary of War. We want to go to war and attack people and blow them up.
Oh, it's okay. Be excited for to distract from when it. So the second that gas is $6 a gallon, you know what the next distraction is going to be to continue to distract from the Epstein files and the cost of living crisis.
Trump files.
The Trump files. They just are at this point. He's dead. The other guy's dead. There's one guy. He's the main guy, anyways. He's and that's worst part about this. People have known that this is a thing he's been doing since the '80s. There are semi-sealed because of how court documents work in the state of New York. Is if you settle out of court, you don't have to explain all of the details of what happened, but you have to tell what the settlement amount was and the category and a couple other things for filing purposes. So we know that there's multiple abuse and sexual misconduct claims that the Trump, business has had to pay out from Trump, millions of dollars in the 80s that were kids. You can just look it up. It's been something you can look up since the 80s.
It's literally wild, some of the stuff that's...
there's other stuff where it's yeah, you're right, maybe, that's nothing. But, that's the one thing where I'm like, guys, this has been, something I've known since I was, in third grade. How have none of you... I know that tabloids are useless in some ways, but they were pretty right about this reporting because he wasn't being very secretive about it. Because he didn't care.
Being pretty upfront about it, actually.
Well, it's because if you think about it from his perspective at that time, that was who he played. Besides being who he is, as the narcissist that he is, that's just who he is. So he was proud of it, and he never thought about the blowback of it when eventually he ran for president, which he never originally wanted to do. So, he just realized it was viable. He never knew it was viable until he joked about doing it, and people said, yeah, do it, and that's all it takes to stroke his ego. Because that's just who he is. And then that's what happened. He got in an ego spiral, and we're here now. And that's literally all it is. We're just living through a man's decade-long ego spiral.
What I love, though, is
all we are living through.
People have started to recognize that he's not going to be around for long. And
dude,
they don't have a plan for after he's gone.
It's going to get back.
Right.
There are 3 factions in the White House right now that all want some things that are similar, just enough similar that they formed a coalition to get that orange fat idiot elected. And that is, we have the tech fascist group, which is Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. That's who J.D. Vance. That's why J.D. Vance was picked as vice president. He's a guy whose entire backing has been through, not entire, he's been backed by other stuff, but other tech billionaires as well, as well as partial ownership of that company that buys off farms as they go bankrupt. And though who's bankrupting farms? The current government. That's fun. Mm-hmm. So that means everyone, by the way, everyone's profiteering off of this bitch. Good for them, bad for me. So you have the techno-fascists, you have the, quote, traditional Republicans, which isn't even really that anymore because it's collapsed so badly. But the closest thing that resembles that, which is the Marco Rubio camp, which there's the man who has 80 jobs, the real president of the United States of America, the real president of Venezuela, the future president of Cuba, the new Ayatollah, Marco Rubio. The man who should have never, the man who just shouldn't have said yes, because he went, I can be the calm, he must have said to himself, I can be the calm in this storm. And then he entered the administration and learned, nah, dude, you're just fucked.
That dude's resume, though, when all of this is over...
It won't matter, he'll be in jail for treason.
So what have you? What's been your job experience in the past 5 years?
I ran the entire what no one else would do part of the administration. I'm the only reason the U.S. didn't instantly vaporize. It's one of those. It's bad that it's bad he's there. He does bad things too. He says bad things, and he's also going through an ego crisis because dude's like hopped up on coke all the time recently. You see it because you'll see normal Marco is just a calm, like sounds like a normal politician. You're like, I could almost respect the guy, but you can tell when he's stressed and has done a line, and because now he's hanging out with all these druggies. So now he's doing it too. And you can be like, yep. And you see him, he's just like jostling at the fucking podium. You're like, dude, we can tell. You're not hiding it. I've also seen him sloshed. The one time he was sloshed, you could see he was like doing the can't stay still.
The waggle.
Yeah, the waggle. You're like, dude, you need to... You're fucked. Sorry, dude. I feel bad almost. You're the only one I feel bad for. Everyone else, nothing. Marco Rubio, only because I'm like, dude, you could have said no. You could have said no, been the face of the real party. You could have saved the party, and you chose to say yes. You're an idiot.
Maybe he's just going through what Jim Carrey did in Yes Man. You say yes enough times, maybe good things will start to happen. And Marco Rubio is just like, well, maybe this time.
Maybe that's what it feels like. That's his entire life. And one day he's gonna. And then you have the Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth combo, super evangelical / white supremacist group, which are technically two separate groups, but they work together because they're both such niche belief systems that if they don't, and they didn't have enough crossover, that if they don't work together, they wouldn't be in the White House. But they are, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Did you know that talking about slavery is too woke? That's yesterday.
It's sad. It's really sad.
Which, I guess technically, talking about slavery is technically woke. I guess I have to give that to them. Because that is being well-read. That's all that being woke means, by the way. It's just being aware that shit can be bad. You don't have to be you don't have to like try and fight for the good part. You just have to be like, oh yeah, no, I get that was bad. That's all it is. In terms of the original language.
Be aware of something that is outside your normal purview.
Yeah.
But just being aware that
it's literally just being slightly empathetic.
Yeah.
That's actually what it means, which is why they have to attack it, because they can't attack empathy. Remember that 2 weeks they tried? Mm-hmm. Do you remember those 2 weeks where like, empathy's a sin, and it backfired everyone's like, empathy's a sin? And the Pope's like, empathy's a sin? And everyone's like, we're sorry, we didn't mean it that way.
I didn't mean like a sin.
I meant like it can lead to sinful behavior if we're too empathetic. Like they had to like sell it in this way. I'm like, yeah. You masked off. I love every once in a while when they mask off really hard and they go, yeah, you all love this, right? And they're like, oh, you guys look horrified. Why you have pitchforks? Look.
Empathy, unfortunately, is in short supply in the world, at least in our government. I feel like it's more with the people, but the people just don't have the voice or the channels to show that as
There's
much.
Also, the American people are very docile. We are aggressive in defending our homeland from outside threats, but because we don't want to offend our fellow American to such a deep degree, to a point that is hilarious because of how mean we are to each other. But, like, we don't, like, we're like, that's not offensive. We're just stating facts we feel about each other. That's how both sides feel about it. So, like, we don't actually think that's mean. But we don't want to be like, oh, I need to alienate someone in my life, which is actually the stage we're at, where we have to be like, sorry, there's like 30% of the population we need to just alienate. They'll either figure it out and move on and be like, oh, okay, so some of my positions are okay? Yeah. Some of them were fine. That was never the problem. The problem was the crazy shit. The problem was... The problem was the crazy shit. The fiscal concern... The being fiscally responsible. We agree with you, you idiots. That no taxation without representation? Agreed. Some of these other things? Agreed. You just want to do it in crazy people ways, so we said no.
This is why we created this form of government, so there can be everybody has a say, but crazy ideas are said. The majority will just say no.
And the problem is we've let, and it's part of it's social media, part of it's the media, part of it's media being bought out by definitely evil people. There's so many different influences that it's hard to just solve the problem because people just want to solve. There's an issue to solve. We need to culturally change as a nation. That takes fucking time, so good luck to us. And that's the problem is we've swung so far the one direction that's going to take a long time to swing back, so it's going to suck for 10 years. Get ready for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough. Whoever's next president, doesn't matter who it is, which party, worst presidency ever, because they have to fix the shit so the country works, at bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality is, the people who are in charge right now aren't going to be in the country anymore. No matter who gets elected, lots of them are running the fuck away because they've committed so many crimes they can't live here because it won't be hard to go after them.
It's going to be, the next administration is going to be the cleanup crew administration. Whoever it may be.
I hope they're... that's the last point, and then we'll end because I know you need to go get ready. American people are very docile, and though groups of them are ready to fight back and push back and protest and be there, not enough Americans. We're only at like 10% realistically, and that is nowhere near enough to push for actual change. So get out there, get loud, make your voice heard, don't be stupid, and don't support colonizers, imperialists, and assholes who murder and genocide people. It's pretty easy. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Fight for the good that we need in this world.
Also, don't be anti-Semitic. I guess I have to put that in there because, Israel, state of Israel, problem. Being Jewish is not. Please stop conflating those two things. Because we're going to go through a bad path again. And then we're not going to solve any of these problems. We'll just swing the genocide a different direction.
We fixed all this already. Let's not go back. Let's not be that place.
The solve isn't killing all the Muslims. The solve has never been killing all the Jews, just like the solve isn't killing all the Christians, guys. It's trying to figure out how to live as multiple monotheistic religions together, which is very possible. Most of Europe does it fine. So does a bunch of Asia. Indonesia has a bunch of Muslim people and Christians and, not that many Jewish people, admittedly, because it's almost like it's an Asian country and there weren't a lot of Jews that moved there. Because mainly white people are Jewish, or Arabish-looking people are Jewish, not Asian people. There are Asian Jews. They exist. They're just very rare. And on that.
One day we might get there, Conlan. But with that...
We'll let this disaster end, and hopefully they have a good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
I did not prep the leaving. No, end card.